This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hello guys. Any query on the demo part which we had yesterday? Then I will start with D1 agenda.
No, Kumar.
Okay, fine. So like today I will be discussing an overview like of EEM, like how to install the EEM. If you are very new to EEM, then I will go you through the process of installing the EM, then walk through of the consoles which we are having in that Classic InTouch, and then we'll go on the technology stack. Today I will be covering the JCR part of it. Okay, so let's start with the EM installation, like how to install the EM. So the first prerequisite is to install the EM on your machine, that you should be having the Java installed on your machine, and there is no other prerequisite required. Okay, all you need is the Java. Okay, 1.8 it is compatible for 6.4. Now you will be getting one jar file and one license file, as I mentioned. So these two things you will be getting, okay, license.properties and one EM author jar file. Okay, so now what you have to do is, might be if you are requesting the file from the Adobe, the name of the file would be different. Like the name can be like EM quick start .jar. Okay, so first you have to just rename this file as per your need. The same jar file can be used for author and can be used for the publish. All you need to do is you need to just rename it. And how to rename it? There is like some standards to rename it, like AEM, then dash, and then author or publish. You have to define here that whether you want an author instance or whether you want the publish instance. If you want it to work as a publish, you have to define here publish. We call these things as a system run modes. Okay, by the name of file, EM knows that on which run mode you are running the instance. And then the port number. Port number should be 4-digit, 4502, 4505, and you can give any port number here. Okay, if you worked on the 5.6 version, you will see here the CQ, but later on 6.0 onwards we keep the name as EM here on the first place. Okay, so once you rename this file, what you have to do is you have to just double click on it. It will take some time and it will create some folder structure under CRX Quick Start. Okay, the same thing you have to process for the publish instance. So what you have to do is you have to just rename that file to AEM publish instead of author. Just rename it to publish and define some different port. The default port we have, like on which all the archetypes and replication agents are set up, are 4502 for author and 4503 for the publish. However, you can keep the port a different one as well, like 4505 or 4507, whatever you want. Okay, so now once you run double click on this file, it will take some time and it will create this folder structure. Okay, we should be aware about it, that what is this folder structure. Okay, so once it successfully extracted all the things, you will see this window. Okay, here will be coming on and localhost 4502, startup time 112 seconds. First time it will take some time, as I mentioned. Second time it will be very fast, it will take a few seconds. Okay, now it created some structure here. Let me go the important one, like we are having one configuration folder, conf folder. Here we are having some system related files which are helpful to start my EEM. There are some sling.property file. We can define here some different run modes. We'll be talking about sling.properties more in detail. Okay, then if I want to check that where all of my data will be getting saved inside the EEM. Okay, so there is nothing, like there is no external database. We can configure external database, but internally in EEM, everything will be storing under this location, repository, and then segment store. You will see here some of the tar files are there. Okay, data a.tar. Tar means tape archive file. So these are the Unix based compressed files which got generated, and your data will be saving here. Okay, we'll come to this point when we'll talk about the JCR, that how data gets stored in the like content repository. So AIM is having its own repository, CRX. Okay, so all the data will be getting saved under these star files, and these star files automatically generates when it cross certain limit 256. Okay, now coming back to different other folder, Launchpad. If you go inside the Launchpad and see all the bundles, like all of your Java files would be in the bundles in form of some bundles, like in form of OSGI bundles. Okay, AEM supports OSGI concept. It will be keeping its code in form of bundles. Okay, so definitely when AEM comes, it also contains some default Java files. It contains some default bundles as well. And the number of bundles depend on the AEM installation. Like for 6.4, it might be 540 or it might be 530. So all the bundles and everything will be installing under this Launchpad. If you go inside the Felix, you will see the number of bunch of bundles are already there. Okay, we'll cover this part when we'll talk about the OSGI. For the time being, you just consider that all the Java files, all the bundles are reside under this location 550. Okay, inside the OPT, there are some internal helper extension files are there which got generated. Two things are important. One is Launchpad and second one is the repository. Okay, inside the logs, all the logs will get generated. We can configure these logs as per our requirement. We'll see how to configure these logs and all. Okay, so once you started your AEM instance, you will land to this page. Very first time there will be one login screen. You have to just type there admin and you will be coming to this screen, localhost 4502 AEM start. If you are running on 4504, then it will be 4504. So now in 6.4, this is the very first screen, which is the landing screen. Okay, after login, this is the very first screen which you will see. And here you will see the two on the left hand side. One is the navigation and one is the tools. Okay, so all the functionality which you want to work in AEM, you can access those consoles from this AEM start. Okay, this is a touch UI because 6.4 supports now, like it recommends that you should only use a touch UI. So this is a touch UI based console. Now, if you are working on some migration project, okay, so you will see that in 5.6 or 6.0 version, we were having a different console when you like when you log in. Admin, once you admin and log in, you will be landing to this screen. Welcome. Okay. Again, if you want to check that which version you are running, you can see here Adobe Experience Manager version 6.4. Okay, so both the screens are same, only the UI is different. Whatever the consoles I can see on this screen are also present on this screen. The only difference is that this is made inside the classic UI and this is for the touch UI. There are different technologies behind it. We'll talk about in the later sessions. So now I will quickly walk you through first the classic UI consoles, then we'll move to the respective consoles inside the touch UI. Okay, we should be aware about all of these consoles, that if I want to work in AEM, then I should be remember that which console I will be using for which purpose. Okay, so now let's start with the console, just walk through. Okay, so very first console on the left hand side, you will see the websites. Okay, so what this website is, if you click on this websites, okay, so you will be landing to this console. We call it as a site admin as well. As the name suggest websites, so all of your content, okay, like the website pages, if you want to create a website, definitely you would require some pages to be created. So from this console we can create any website. We can use MSM concept. If we are having already a website, then instead of creating the structure here like new page, I can create the live copies from the existing blueprints. Okay, we'll talk about those things, that how to create those blueprints and all. So this is a console from where you will be creating some pages. Okay, like the out of box we will be receiving one vRetail one. So this is the website which comes by default with 6.4. Okay, if I go to this console and see vRetail, so they have already created one structure for vRetail, like English, and they are having several pages: experience, man, woman. So they created this structure. Okay, so using this console you can create any website pages or any structure. Okay, that is first console. Let's go back to another console. Just click on this logo. You will be routing to the welcome.html again. Now the second important console is the digital assets. Okay, just click on it. We call it as a DAM admin. And just remember one thing, like okay, so Raju, you are saying that what is the difference between a page and a new site? Okay, so as I mentioned that if you are like creating a structure manually, then it will be a page option, and if you are using any blueprint, existing blueprint, then you will be using the site option. We'll come to that point when we'll be covering the MSM part. Okay, so that is the main difference between a page and new site and a new live copy. Okay, just remember one thing, like earlier I opened the website console and it called as site admin. These abbreviation would be different for the touch UI. Okay, just remember this thing. I will tell you that what is the replacement of DAM admin and what is the replacement of site admin. Okay, now this is my second console, you can say, DAM admin. So as the name suggests, DAM means for digital asset management. Okay, so all of your assets, as you can see here, EM assets. Assets can be in form of like image, it can be form of in video, audio, PDF files. Okay, whenever you are working with any CMS, definitely there should be some flexible way to manage your assets. Okay, because in CMS a lot of assets we will be working, we will be like communicating. So there should be some mechanism so that I can easily navigate through my assets and I can easily manage those assets. So this console provide me a way to manage the assets. I can create here on the left hand side project specific folders. I will give you example of the vRetail only. Okay, this is a default one which comes like vRetail. If you click on vRetail, for suppose this is my English locale. Okay, for English locale there are having different pages or different themes like activities. So here you will see some more folders, like they have categorized that all the images related to the biking should come here. If I want to create a new folder for my project, what I will do, I'll just click here, click a new folder from here. Okay, once I click new folder, then I will just click new file and upload my asset from my local system. Okay, that is one thing. The another thing which I just told yesterday, that whenever you upload any image on this DAM, there are certain workflows which got triggered automatically. Okay, if I double click on this image, suppose I uploaded this image, so we'll see some renditions are there, some versions are there. Okay, and some metadata is also there. So how it got generated? Okay, because I'm having a simple image but I haven't uploaded on not like these renditions and all information. So AEM provides you a facility to add some metadata. We can create our own metadata schemas as well in AEM. There are certain workflows which got run whenever you upload any image. Okay, so there is a concept of workflow launcher. We'll come to that point when we'll be covering the workflow part. Okay, it helps us to navigate the images, to search the images, these metadata. We can tag the image, like it will help whenever we are creating any application where you want to easily classify the images based on certain tags or based on certain metadata. Okay, so this is a console where you will be uploading all of your digital assets. Let me just go back again. The campaigns ones. Okay, so that is a different thing. We'll talk something about later on. So all the campaigns, like marketing campaigns, there is a concept of campaign in AEM as well. Like the offers and other things you will be creating under this console. Let's skip for the time being. The another console is the inbox. Okay, if I click on this inbox, okay, so this is an, you can say, the internal mailbox for a user who is the logged in user. Like right now I am logged in with the admin, so I will, this is my internal inbox. In the workflow we are having a participant concept. Like whenever you start a workflow, whenever you want to approve something, okay, then approver can see the item or the notification on this console. Okay, suppose I started some workflow, I want to like, I'm a user and I want to approve my page before it got published. That notification will come here on this inbox one. We'll see that. Now the users one. So this is the user admin. Okay, user admin. So this console helps us to like to administrator to create the different users, to create the different groups. Okay, in AEM, definitely I am logged in with the admin. So everybody cannot have the admin access. There should be some segregation between the users, like who are the content authors. I will be giving a certain set of permissions to them. Okay, I cannot go and give all the permissions here. If I click on this account manager and go to the permission, then it will be having certain set of permission. Right now it's not having, but if I go to the content author, so these are the some default groups and default users which have been created. We'll see that how we can create the users, how we can create the groups, and what is the difference between a user and group. If I go to the permission, you will see that there are specific permissions have been given. There are some concept of ACL as well, access control libraries. We'll go through that, but using this console, we can create the users and we can create the groups as well, like from these two options. Okay, if I want to create any other user, I want to give a certain privileges, then I can use this console, user admin. Okay, so let's go back again. The tool section. So this is an important one. Like in the tools console, you will see here a lot of things like the replication one. If you want to see that how the agents are configured, which transport the data from an author to publish, then you can configure all of your replication agents here. Okay, we come to this point, and like workflow, you can see here notifications. In 6.3 version, we were having a design concept. Now it has been removed from 6.4. The cloud service configuration, if you are connecting to some different third party, then you can create your cloud configuration from this console. MSM control center as well. Okay, so there are a lot of things that like the setting kind of things we can do with this tools console. MISC admin, we call it as a MISC admin. Let's go back. This is only for the tagging purpose. I'm skipping it. Cloud services, workflows. So this is for Adobe Marketing Cloud. You can configure the cloud services there. If I click on this, next one is the workflows. I'm just telling which are the more important. We'll cover those things when we'll be connecting to the third parties. Okay. Now the second another item on the right side is the workflow. If I open it, if I click on it, it will land me to a console page where you will see the workflows. Okay, so this console is helpful if you want to create any workflow. Okay, right now if I go here and see, these are all the out of box workflows like DAM update asset. Okay, if I click on this one, okay, so it will be showing me a certain set of steps, a workflow. Like this is a default model which I was talking about. Like whenever you upload any image, then some workflow got triggered. So this is a workflow update asset which got triggered. It create the like thumbnails, it create many like metadata and other things. This workflow is responsible for that. So there are out of box workflows. We can create our own one as well. Okay, we can create our own workflows we can create our own process steps. Okay, so this is the console. We'll talk about in the later sessions about this console, but from this workflow we can create our own workflows, a set of steps that need to be followed. Launcher console replication is like same. If I click on it, it will go inside the tools and will open the agents on author. Now documentation, developer resources, just skip those. The most important thing are these two. Okay, one is a CRXD Lite and second one is the packages. Okay, and the web console. These three things you will be using most of the time. Okay, so what is this CRXD Lite? If I click on it, let me just open a new tab. Okay, so when you open it, you will see one, like on the left hand side you will see some of the folders which are coming. So this is a development environment, integrated development environment, which comes with your AEM. Okay, AEM installation file. So from using this console you can create the components, you can create the templates, and you can even create the pages as well. Definitely we use site admin, the website console, to create the pages, but you can create the node structure and everything from this console. Okay, so let's talk about this editor. Like what is this editor? CRXDE. Okay, so let me just cover one more thing before going to like navigation of these folders and how we work with CRXD Lite. Let me just go back. Okay, I will just go to the welcome only for the time being. Okay, the next console is the packages. If you click on this packages console, okay, so using this console, you can package your content from the CRX, from the CRXD. If you have created certain set of components, certain set of templates or something, and you want to transport it to some other environment, like from 4502, you want to transfer your content, whatever content you created inside CRXD development environment, you can use this package to manage or to backup your resources. When I say resources, your project. Okay, so we'll see that how we can create the package, how we can replicate, and how we can take the backup from CRX itself. Okay, let's go back. So from this console we can create the package, we can set the path and everything. Let me just go back again. And there is one more console which is important one, that is the web console. Okay, if you click on this web console, okay, so this web console is like a part of my Felix container. Okay, so there are three technologies. If I talk about the technology stack, let me just open one diagram. So everything you will be finding here, which I'll be talking. Okay, if you see this diagram, there are three core technologies inside the AEM. One is Apache Sling, JCR, and OSGI. Okay, when I open this console, config manager, there are out of box services present inside EM, okay, which we can configure. Okay, if I go to the bundles from OSGI, if I go to the bundles, and click on this ID, then you will see the same set of bundles which I shown you in the bundles here, 550. If you go to the CRX quick start and then go to the launchpad and then not installer, these bundles, okay, all of the bundles are present here. So these bundles are nothing but a set of Java files. They are containing some services, some servlets, okay, which you can independently deploy on your environment. Okay, we'll talk about these things later on. And you can also configure your services. Like if I want to change this behavior, like whenever I log in, okay, type admin on my login screen. I don't want to load this page. Okay, I want that some different page, some welcome page should open. What should I do? Either I will be always going and type here welcome, or either I can change this behavior as well. Like rather than typing welcome here, I want that in 6.4, my use case is in 6.4, when I type admin on the login screen, it should land to this page, welcome page, rather than EM start page. How I can change behavior? So those kind of settings or those kind of configuration we can do in this console config manager. There are out of box services. So let me just show you one use case. There are many use cases of these out of box. There are a lot of out of box configurations available. If I go here and type authoring, okay, you will see here one service, WCM authoring UI mode service. Okay, just click on it. Just give me a moment. Connecting my. Okay, not this one. This one is useful whenever you double click on any page, it opens in Touch or Classic. There is one more service, that is root, I guess. Okay, day CQ route mapping. Just click on it. You will see that this page get loads whenever you start or whenever you put your credential on the login screen, AIM start. So I can change this behavior. I want that every time I want this welcome page should get open. Okay, I will just save it. So these kind of things like configuration of services, if I'm connecting my EMs to some third party, then I will be creating some services. I will be providing the endpoints to these services. We can create our own services in the same fashions. There are factories as well. Okay, and if I'm having different environments, then I'm having a concept of run modes. We can control those configuration for different environments using the run modes. Now, if I go back and just log it out and type admin here, then instead of AIM start, it should open the welcome page. Okay, now you can see it is opening the welcome page. Okay, so that is one thing. Now coming back to, so we have covered almost all of the consoles here. The important one which I am talking about now, which I'll be talking about, that is the CRXD Lite develop application with a web-based IDE. Okay, you see this line. So let's just click on it. So when you open this console, you will see certain set of folders on the left hand side. Okay, and it is also telling you something here, right, like Apache Jackrabbit OAK. Okay, and telling you about some repository information. Okay, we'll come to the JCR. Let me just quickly walk you through about these folders, and then we'll come to this repository part, that how data gets stored inside the EM. Okay, and which topology it follows. Okay, so on the left hand side, this is my root folder. Okay, root, and you will see certain set of folders here: apps, bin, conf, content, etc, and etc. Okay, so the very first folder, the apps one, all of your project, okay, whatever you will be creating will come under this apps one. Okay, either you create using Eclipse, or either you can create your standalone project from this console as well, CRXD index. Okay, definitely we use the Eclipse to create our projects. Okay, like we'll be creating through some archetype, or we'll be creating through customized archetypes as well, and we'll be deploying that code in the CRX either through package or either through some event commands. So this apps folder will be containing your website structure. I will walk you through the vdetail one. Okay, we've seen that this is a default website which comes with the AEM vRetail US website. It contains several pages. It contains a lot of components. Okay, if you go to the component sections, you will see that it contains a lot of components. Okay, so let me just go to this vRetail. So now I am under apps. These are all some system defined folders, like core folder is there, client libs is there, ACS common is there. And for your like website specific, if I want to create a new website, then I will be creating a new structure here, new folder. Okay, so we'll see that how to create that structure. So this is the vRetail one. All the components they are keeping under, they have created this structure manually, or they might create this structure using archetype as well. These are all the components which have been created here. Okay, all the templates would be there. What is the template and components? We'll come to that point later on. Just remember one thing, that inside the apps we'll be creating our project structure either by using archetype, or either I will go manually here and we'll create the project structure here. Okay, first we'll see that how to create the project structure manually inside the CRXDE, and then we'll jump into the Eclipse part. Okay, so bin is again, there is nothing, they have just kept bin folder here. Another one is the configuration. So this folder you won't see in 5.6 instances or 6.0. So this is a new feature which got introduced in 6.3, 6.4 onwards. All the configuration related files, like if you are creating the editable templates, okay, you would require some config. Okay, you will be keeping all of your editable template, your content fragments will be storing under this location, config conf. Okay, so there are a configuration browser through which we can create these one. We'll come to that point. The content one, another important thing is the content one. Okay, you see here there is one slash content. Okay, and now if I click on this dam folder, then slash content slash dam. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just open this digital assets, and let me just open this vRetail, and let's click on English. Okay, I just clicked on English. Just consider this path, slash content slash dam vRetail en. The same path I can see in the CRXT Lite. This is the way to see that how my data is getting stored, or you can see the like view of my repository. Okay, we haven't talked about the repository, but I'm just telling that this is the view of your repository, that how data items are getting stored. If I go here, you will see content dam. So this is the same folder. Dam is this one, this dam admin, content dam vRetail en. If I go here, vRetail and then en, the same folder. Okay, so these are the 6 folder I can see here, and in the dam as well I can see these 6 folders. Okay, the only significance of this console is that we can upload the images. Okay, or whatever you are uploading the images, you can view from the CRXT itself. You just go to this path, content dam vRetail en, and you can see that whatever the images are present here. Okay, suppose I go inside the biking, and these are the images. Also, it contains a certain set of metadata, renditions, and everything. Okay, we'll talk about this one in the JCR session, that what is this node and all. Okay, so all of your content will be here. This is a dam one, and all of the your website structure. Suppose you click on this one of vRetail. Okay, slash content slash vRetail. Then this is the website one. If you create any content in the website console, all the content you can also see under this location. Okay, if you have created a new page there, all the information will be storing here. You can view that repository structure from this console, CRXT. Okay, so that is the content one. All of your content you can see from this content one. In the etc, again this is a replica of the MISC admin. Okay, we seen one tool section where we were having ACS common replications. So those things, node structure and the repository structure, you can see from this etc console. Home will be using for to store the users and groups which you will be creating inside the user admin. Okay, all the users and groups will be coming here in certain groups on certain path which you will be selecting to create a groups. Okay, important one is the libs one. So all the library files on which EM is based on, there are a lot of out-of-box components which comes with EM. All that information you can find under the library section. Okay, for every technology we are having some library files. So the same way in EM we are having these libraries on which EM core functionalities depend on, is based on. We can go and check that how they have created their out of box components. We will simply go to the foundation components and can see that how they have created certain components like image component, list component. Okay, so this is an internal functionality. One more thing, that when you go in the libs, you will see certain folders are disabled mode, the grayed out. Okay, so that is a new thing that comes with the 6.4. What does that mean? This means that these folders are not allowed to inherit or overlay. Not inherit, like overlay. If you click on these folders, you will see here one mixin type granite internal area. So these folders are not supposed to be inherited to be overlay. What is inherited? What is overlay? We'll talk about it. Okay, so that is a classification which comes with 6.4, that you can easily classify which folder is safe to overlay and which folder is meant for the library for its internal functionality. OIC indexing, we'll talk about it. And this is system, and for the temporary files we are having the var folder. Okay, we'll be talking about all these folders when we proceed. Now the important thing comes, the technology structure which you see here. I'll not be talking about much on Apache Sling and OSGI. We'll see these things practically, that how Apache Jetty takes the request, how it maps to the default get servlet, and how it resolve the scripts. Okay, if I talk you about now Apache Sling is a web framework, it is REST based, so that doesn't mean, okay, until or unless we create some component and we can correlate the Apache Sling with that explanation. Okay, so coming back to this Apache Sling, let me just cover the JCR first. Apache Sling will be covering later on. Just let me just give you some insight about the Apache Sling. So Apache Sling is nothing but it's a web framework. Whenever you open any page, okay, I just hit this URL. Suppose this is one URL. I'm hitting this URL. Okay, this is running on some Apache Jetty, that is internal web server which comes with AEM. You don't need to install that. All these requests will go internally to some servlet. Okay, so let's take an example of the JSP application. What happened there? If I'm running my application on some Tomcat server, definitely I would require some configuration file or some mapping file, which will be taking my input web.xml or something, which will be map my incoming request to some servlets. Okay, that happens in case of Java. Now, who is taking care of this thing in the EM? Definitely I'm running on some server, internal server. Who is taking care of this? I just invoked, I just double click on some pages and it renders something to me. So Apache Sling is a framework which comes behind this structure. Okay, it takes the request from the server. There are some servlets. Okay, if I go to this config manager, I will talk about in deep, but let me just show you one Apache get. There is one. There is one service that is Apache Sling get servlet. Okay, so this is the servlet which takes the input the very first time Apache get Sling get servlet. Okay, it tells that which render you want. Okay, let's not talk about it right now. Okay, so Apache Sling just it decides that what content should render. So it is taken care by the Apache Sling. Okay, there are some concept of script resolution where it decide that which page to load based on the extension and based on the resource, based on the selector and extension, suffix and other things are there. We'll talk about those things. So Apache Sling is responsible to map the particular request whenever you hit any URL on your web browser. Okay. The next thing is you will find some details here that what is this sling. We'll cover this. Okay. So now the important one is the sling. Sorry, this JCR, Java Content Repository. Okay. So if you have worked on any Java based system, then definitely we connect to MySQL. Okay, we connect to some Oracle or we connect to some other third party database. Okay, to store the content. Now in case of my EM, where data will get stored, I have shown you one segment store. Okay, where the tar files are there. Okay, so the default, like you can say, the database for AEM is the tar files. It will be saving in unstructured way. Okay, like structured way, you can say the hierarchical structured storage. It will be saving your data in form of tar files. Okay, there is no table concept like we have in the traditional RDBMS systems, like I'm having certain columns, primary key, foreign key. There is no such concept in AEM. We'll be having a concept of content repository. Okay, the structured storage. Okay, so all the data will be getting saved in form of properties, in form of nodes. Okay, so now you will be hearing two terms many of the times. One is a JCR, one is Apache Jackrabbit, sometime OAK. Okay, and one sometimes the CRX. So what are these old terminologies? Okay, so when we talk about the JCR, definitely there is one content repository. To access that content repository, definitely we would require some certain APIs. Correct. So there is one API, that is the JCR. Okay, so JCR is the API by which you can connect with the content repository. It's a set of interface, it's a set of core functions which it provides. JCR. Okay, you just consider that JCR is a specification to access the content repository using some APIs. Okay, now I am having one API. It defines certain level of functions, but the definition of those functions which are defined in the JCR, there are some implementation framework on the top of JCR. There are various frameworks available in the market, around 100 or more than 100. I'm not sure about the numbers, but there are a lot of, like you can say, implementation frameworks available. Apache Jackrabbit is one of them. Okay, so Apache Jackrabbit is nothing but it's an implementation of the JCR. Okay, whatever the functions it defined to access the content repository, it has the implementation of those functions defined in the JCR, Apache Jackrabbit. Okay, so what is the connection between CRX, between our EM and Apache Jackrabbit? Okay, so if you see this CRXDE, let me, you will see here repository information, Apache Jackrabbit OAK and CRXD content repository extreme here. Okay, so this Apache Jackrabbit, as I mentioned, that it's an implementation framework of JCR. Now CRX, now Adobe created its own implementation framework. Okay, and that implementation framework they have named as CRX, content repository extreme. Okay, so CRX and Apache Jackrabbit both are the implementation framework. CRX internally use the Apache Jackrabbit concept. Additionally, it provides some more things. Okay, CRX, like it provided us an editor like this CRXD environment as well. Okay, there are various things which we can achieve using JCR, like the versioning, like the managing content, and all other things we can achieve using this CRX. Okay, so CRX is a combination of Apache Jackrabbit plus some extra things. Okay, and OAK, there are different versions on the top of Jackrabbit. They are enhancing the internal framework, internal implementation framework of JCR, and they are now AEM is using the latest OAK repository. They have renamed. They are keeping Jackrabbit 3. Now they came up with now OAK representation. some layers are there, and now all the things have been combined into the CRX3. That is a content repository stream for my AEM. Okay, so now how the data is getting stored. Okay, as I mentioned that in the traditional application, the data gets stored in form of tables. But now CRX support this JCR structure. It creates some nodes. All the data will be getting saved under those nodes in form of properties. Okay, and now if you see here, let me just go back. Suppose I created one page. Okay, let's suppose inside the content I created this VRetail page. Okay, en and user. Let's forget about that how to create the page. Just think about it. I created this user page. Okay, so you will see that in the repository, because this is the view of the repository I can see from this CRX. Okay, there is no other way. One CRX Explorer is there, but this is the way that you can see the internal structure, that how the data is getting stored in form of structure format. Okay, this is a tree structure format. If I click on this JCR content, okay, you see there are some nodes. Some primary type is associated with the nodes, and these are the properties. You can see the properties. This is one node, that is root, and this is these are all the properties which are getting saved here. Okay, so every site data, everything will be storing in form of nodes and properties in the AEM, in the content repository. Okay, and like how EM is managing those things in the CRX. Whenever we create a particular page, whenever we create a component, it associate one primary type to that page, to that folder, to that client library, or to that component or the template or anything which you create, either replication agent. There you will find one primary type is there, NTN structure. There are different like primary types available, and it depends again on the implementation framework, that how they have implemented the like core JCR framework. Okay, CRX is our implementation framework, so they are having their own concept. Like for the pages, they are keeping it as like if I click on this page, they are keeping a CQ page for my page. For simple node, they are keeping it NT like CQ page content if I'm deriving it from my template. Okay, so there are certain primary types which are getting considered. For page, it is CQ page. If I go to the components, like if I go here, apps, VRetail components, suppose I click on any component, suppose this is button component, then the primary type is the CQ component. Okay, here you will see certain structure like protected, mandatory, multiple, auto created. Okay, let me just click here only. So what does it mean? Okay, so there are certain segregation they have created. Like whenever you see mandatory, okay, it means that this, let's start with auto created one only. Let me just click here somewhere. Okay, here. So auto created, it tells that whether this property got created automatically by my implementation framework or not. Okay, or either I created it, then the true false value would be there. Whether it is having a single value, if it is having single value, my property, okay, only single value I didn't press on multi, then it will be saying that it is a single, like multiple is false. Okay, mandatory, whether the property is mandatory or not, and the protected, whether you can delete this property or not. Okay, I can delete it. The true one I cannot delete. Okay, so these are the segregation which have been made by the CRX. Okay, so most of the time we do not go here and we create the properties. It got automatically created when we configure our components through the dialogues and all. Okay, so there are some more things. Let me just open some points here so you can quickly go through this one. Like JCR provides a generic application data store for structured hierarchical data plus observation, versioning, and full text search. So what does this mean? Observation. Okay, so these are the features which JCR provides, which my implementation framework provides. Okay, sometimes we use this term JCR CRX interchangeably, but that is overall about the functionality which that framework provide to me. Like the observation, there are some observation framework, like you can create the event handlers in AEM. Like whenever you do some changes on the content, okay, there would be some observation frameworks which will be triggering on the moment which you the moment you change something in the content, you can invoke certain event handlers, and that is an observation framework. So that facility is provided by the JCR. Now the versioning is one more concept, and full text search. You can perform the searching throughout the content. You can create your own index. OIC3 is not supporting out-of-box indexing. You have to create certain indexes for fast search. We'll come to that point later on. Now, every site, these are some rules which I mentioned here, like every site data will get stored in form of node and properties. Every file image will be treating as a node. Okay, and to differentiate those, we'll be having JCR primary type. Okay, that is defined by the CRX. Okay, data will be storing in the tar files. And if you delete any segment, okay, now if you go here and delete something from this CRX cookie start repository and delete this segment is stored, then you won't be able to back up the things. Okay, because all the data will be storing under these tar files. You cannot go manually and right click and open to see that how the structure is getting saved, because these are the Unix based files. Okay, these are the compressed files. You cannot see the structure. Only way to see the structure is the CRX only, the implementation framework of GCR, my content repository. Okay, now to view the repository, either we use the CRXD or either we use the CRX Explorer. We'll come to this point later on. Let me just open this CRX Explorer as well. Okay, so this is a screen which exists with AEM from the 5.6. In the future versions, definitely Adobe will be removing this screen, but this screen is still present on the 6.4 as well. So what this screen does, okay, all of the options you see here, CRXD Lite. So might be if you have worked on the 5.5, then you will see in the day one, then we will be using this screen to navigate to the CRXD Lite. But now these options are already present on the welcome.screen, welcome.html. We normally go there on the welcome. We do not access this more. Okay. Two purposes we use this CRX Explorer. Either if I want to create some system users. Okay. So there is a concept of the system users in AEM to get the resource resolver. Okay. Now certain things have been changed from 6.1 to 6.4. Okay, concept of resource resolver is there. Like we can create some system resolver to restrict or to apply some more restrictions. We are having that concept like in the user administrator. I can create some system users. Okay, this facility is not available in the user admin section. Okay, for that purpose, if you want to see that what are the nodes which are available, okay, right now. Okay, let me just go back. Let me just log in here again and go to this node type administration. Okay, you will see here all the nodes which are present. I was talking about these node types. If you want to know more about that, what node types I'm having, okay, you can go to this one and can see, like, it's not required to go each and every one, but it will give you some insight that how they have created this like internal things. Okay, so this is an internal part only, like what are the node types available. You will see under this node type configuration. Okay, now let me just close it. Okay, so that is all about the CRX. Okay, we'll be talking more when we'll be creating some like components templates, that how we add the properties and all. But that's just overview of the GCR, that how data gets stored and how we can view the data. Okay. third one, we talked about the Sling very briefly. We'll cover it through practical examples. Okay, just for it, like Apache Sling is a web framework for content-centric applications. Okay, it works on the top of JCR. Let's talk about it now. Another one is like OSGI. Okay, as I mentioned that OSGI is nothing but Open Service Gateway Initiative. You divide your application in form of modules, like independent modules you can install on the system without requiring a restart or something. Okay, you can configure your services. You can deploy the bundles without affecting other applications. Okay, it's a dynamic module system. We'll be covering this part when we'll be creating some Java application. We'll go through the bundles and all. Okay, so that is to handle the Java part of our EEM application, that is OSGI. We call it as a Felix container. Like there is another implementation framework for OSGI as well. Like Equinox is one of them, like which we generally use in the Java applications. If I want to categorize or if I want to modularize my Java, but in AEM we are having a certain implementation framework, that is Apache Felix container. Okay, like Felix container is an implementation of OSGI instead of Equinox or other available implementation frameworks. Okay, so these consoles we have like seen like where to use websites, digital assets, community inbox, users, tools, and tagging. Now, guys, any query before I wrap it up? I'll be like from tomorrow, what we'll be doing, we'll be starting creating some components, and we'll see once we create any component, then I will walk you through the Apache Sling concept, that how really it works. Okay, first I want to create a simple text component, a structure in EM, and then we'll guys queries, any queries?
One question where you said that there are like almost those 550 bundles, and you knew about that component, like where to change, the home screen, which one opens, whether touch or classic. So, is there a place where we can get, like, how would I know what functionality is there or what is available for me? Is there some documentation or?
Yeah, there is one Adobe page where you will be getting all the information, like whatever all the bundles present, whatever the configurations are available. So I will be giving you one path, okay, of the all the configuration available. Like you can just go through those configuration, and it's not you should be aware about all the configuration available, but there are
Mhm.
certain important configurations which are important, which we should aware of. Okay, so I'll be giving you
Okay.
one path of Adobe. You can just go and can see that what are the different configuration available.
Okay.
Vipin, I have a quick question. Like, in this configuration manager, like, in the othering,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned like, touch, but still I
Yes.
see it is open in the classic UI mode.
Which one? Oh, that is different thing. Like that is you can see their touch, but that configuration means a different. Okay, if I open that again, let me just see. Okay, let me just talk you authoring. So
Yeah,
that is only
othering.
for the authoring one. Okay, authoring means like whenever you click, whenever you type here, right now it is touch. Okay, so this is
Huh?
different from the root mapping. What it means that if you go to the site admin, let me just quickly go to the site admin. Okay, site admin. I'm going through the classic UI only for the time being, and I click on any page. Okay, suppose this is my idea website and I'm just double clicking on this page. So in which mode it should open? Either it should open in the classic UI mode or either it should open in the touch UI mode. So that is that setting. Now if I double click on this page, okay, let me just double click on this page. So now you see editor.html. It means the touch UI. Okay, it is
Okay,
getting
okay.
open in the touch UI. Now if I want to open in the CF hash mode, okay, I will just write here classic and save it. And now the next time if I open the page, it will open in the classic UI mode. Instead of editor.html, it will be CF hash. That is for that setting. Okay, we'll come to
Okay.
that point when we'll be creating those pages and all. Any other queries, guys, for today? Yep.
Regarding segment store, at particular instance, AEM will work on one tar file, or it has a chance to work on more than one file.
Yeah, you can configure the different databases as well, like MongoDB or the RMK instance.
No, not that. My question is like if you open that folder structure that has so many tar files, right?
Yeah, right.
So, which means during that time, the AEM is using all the tar files or only few files. So, like what if it keep on creating, which is not using? Is there any way we can delete the old tar file, something like that?
There is a tar optimization, like tar compaction thing is there in AEM. You can use that tool, but we cannot identify that in which tar what data is getting stored. That is not in our control.
Okay. And also, can you please share that URL to us, how to know what is the purpose of each and every bundle?
Yeah,
and
sure.
everything? Yeah.
Sure. I will share that. Yep.
Kumar, Manpreet here.
Yeah, Manpreet.
You mentioned that for author we use 450 like any other port number. So does the folder structure get changed for author and publish, like when we change for the publish? So, like,
The
is it this?
folder structure would be same, but there would be some set of internal permissions, which, like, if I open my publish instance, the structure will be same. If I compare the structure of both publish and author, the structure would be same, but internal things would differentiate that whether you are running author or publish. It would be permissions, internal permissions that will restrict, but the structure will be same.
Okay, so the only difference will be for the permissions, or maybe something else also?
Yes. You won't be able to edit the page on the publish instance.
Okay.
Okay. Any other queries, guys? Otherwise, we are good to close.
Kumar. Hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
Can we have a session on while using the DAM assets, can we keep the validations and all? How we can keep the validations for the DAM business and all?
DAM validation. What do you mean by the DAM validation? Can you just brief me about that? What do you mean by DAM validation?
While using the images on the page, while the author is dragging and dropping the images, how we keep the validation for the images, means height, width, and the resolutions and all.
Like, you are talking about the DAM, or you are talking about the component when you drag some image in the dialog of a component?
When I drag and drop to the component, image component, want to keep a validation for the image.
Yeah, validations definitely we can perform through, like, in AEM we can apply the validation on the TouchWare or classic dialogs. That I will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't performed that validation, but yeah, definitely we can cover that. Okay. So guys, I think we are good to close today. We'll meet tomorrow same time. Okay.
Bye, Kumar.
Okay. Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.